So we had about 3 weeks with the boat in the water this time around. Probably have 10 or 12 hours running time all told at this point, which isn't a lot. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that's several couple-hour trips. And we've explored a good bit of our creek system right here, which has been great fun. We just putt along, feel our way through the unmarked channels, and enjoy looking at the houses and stuff on the shore. I love the boat. It's exactly what I wanted. It's comfortable, secure, perfect for putting around like we do. We're not looking to go fast. Everybody asks what the top speed of this boat is, and frankly I've never even gotten there yet, because the faster I go, the outboard starts to cavitate, the propeller starts to cavitate, and so I've actually never pushed the throttle all the way forward. Honestly, speed was never what I cared about in this boat. It cruises at 6 or 7 knots very comfortably, and a slightly faster cruise speed is about 9 or 10 knots, which is also an excellent speed for the boat and how we're using it. And I've never made it all the way to full stop on the throttle. And frankly, I don't care. I'm not here for speed. If I wanted a speed boat, I'd have something different. This is a boat designed, in my mind, to do exactly what we're doing. Looks good in the water. Gotten some appreciative and interested looks from people in their standard white center consoles, which is pretty much all you see around here. Occasional pontoon boat. Gotten some thumbs up, some appreciative waves, a couple of comments, and that isn't why I built the boat, but it's nice to hear. And I love how she looks. I think she looks awesome. She looks great at our dock. Sounds great at our dock. With the flat bottom, it makes a great sound when the little wavelets hit. And I couldn't be happier, other than the sort of irritation of dewatering after rain. But we're gonna make that all better. We're working on getting a boat lift installed at our dock. It's a process. Everybody's got boat lifts down here. It's kind of necessary. And once we have a lift, I'll feel good leaving the boat here as we travel around and are away from the property. So with luck in the future, we'll be able to launch once in the season, keep the boat on the lift, and just haul out for the winter and for boat maintenance and whatever. And as much as I would have loved to leave it in, had to pull it because we're going away for a while, and I don't feel good leaving it at the dock. It not being self-bailing is kind of a liability, which I always knew. So we hauled out on low tide, and I had no problem getting down to the ramp, although the end of our creek was very shallow at the end. Had to tilt the engine up a bit. It was dead low, because that's what works best for the ramp that we go to. And frankly, I got impatient. I was going to do it later in the morning, and I was all raring to go, so kind of forced the issue, and we went a little earlier than planned. I was going to do more mid-tide. But haul out was a little interesting. There's a lot of current where the ramp is, because it's pretty much where all the water in the creek flows in and out during the tidal change. And the ramp is quite deep, and I put the trailer in less deeply than when we launched, but even so it was too deep. The whole aft end of the boat was floating. It made it very hard to get things aligned and get the bow up high enough to come up the bunks on the forward end of the trailer. But eventually we got the boat on, and we learned a few things. It'll go much easier the next time. It's really not bad. It's just getting things just so that I can make it as easy as possible with this boat. I do find that with such a flat bottom, as expected, and a lot of sail area, the boat is pretty squirrely at low speeds and very easily blown off course. So I'm debating the merits of a skeg at some point. Nothing immediate. It'd be easy enough to add. I don't know when or if I'm going to do it, but it's something I'm thinking about. We'll kind of give this time as we use the boat more. So embarrassingly, I spelled Nassawatics wrong. It just has one D, not two. So I've ordered a replacement OX, and I'm going to remove 3 letters and replace the OX with one D. It'll leave a bit of a space between creek and Nassawatics, but I think that's okay. It'll still be centered, and if I hate it, then I can replace the whole thing sometime, but I didn't really want to take the whole thing off. A few letters is no problem. So nobody called me on this error. I noticed it myself, and it's embarrassing that I didn't get it right. To put the new letters on, I just struck a tape line underneath the bottom of the existing ones, Stuck that on loosely to make sure the bottoms of those letters line up with the top of the tape. And now I'll press it in place, peel off the paper covering the letters. And there we go. You'd never even know if I hadn't told you. A couple small things to change on the boat. I'm going to cast some lead weights and put some trim ballast in the stern. Try and get the stern down a little bit, mainly to make it easier to dewater. Cockpit cover and the cover over the slot are great, but the cockpit cover sheds water right into the outboard well, and the way I had that installed, a lot of water got through it. And that's because I just had it gasketed and screwed in place. I didn't put any sealant or anything around the corners and the edges. So I may do that. There isn't a sump, so the water doesn't collect deeply enough for the centrifugal pump to pick up, but the trim weight will help. And I'm also going to lower the outboard, I think 2 holes, and with 1 or 2 people in the boat, which is our normal load, and where we sit and stand up near the helm in the center of the boat, there's just not enough weight in the stern, and the outboard needs to be down lower. The boat is just so featherweight. I'm actually really impressed how light it is. It basically sits on top of the water. It's about a 2-inch draft, and it does sit a little lighter than I expected, but the realities of this boat are that it just needs to be lower so that it's in the water more. Particularly reverse, when docking or whatever, I've found that it basically just sucks all kinds of air in and throws all kinds of water up into the outboard well, which also creates water inside the boat. That's been kind of a frustration. And again, on a breezy day with all the sail area and no draft and a flat bottom, it can make getting to the dock a bit of a challenge. And a large part of that is because the outboard just ventilates. This is all good information. It's not unexpected. This particular design has not been built many times that I'm aware of. So it's kind of breaking new ground with this boat. And hopefully these experiences will help somebody else if they want to build this boat. I've got the engine in the bottom hole, and I think I'm going to lower it 2 bolt holes because I don't think 1 is quite enough to go to the effort. So we're going to go down 2 because it's significantly too high. We notice it especially if somebody moves forward in the boat from the helm area. And even at the helm, there's so little of the engine in the water that reverse in particular is just a ventilation nightmare that leads to cavitation, and it's ineffective. So we need to get this lower unit down a bit. So my thought is to go to this hole right here. It's going to be more than 1 inch lower. So that's the plan. To keep the boat safe when we're not here, I put up this 20 by 12 foot Harbor Freight shed. Just a simple metal frame with a tarp and doors on each end. And the boat does stick out quite a ways beyond the front of the shed. But I was able to arrange the door in such a way, I added 3 grommets to it, just 3 basic stamp-in grommets. And by pulling it tight over the bow, I protect the rest of the bow, which is my main purpose. Otherwise, the anchor well was exposed and was likely going to fill up with junk from the trees and whatever. And then, just to hold the sides, I've got it tied aft to the trailer. This is loose. We'll see how this goes, but what I really just want is the cover over the stem and the anchor well, which I have here. So we're going to see how this all goes. May be adjusted later. Not trying to hide the boat or anything. It's okay that it's open on the sides. I wouldn't mind if it was completely open, but I didn't really like having the bow sticking out the way it was. And then inside, the boat's well protected. All the cockpit and everything open as well inside the shed. This is the little foredeck. Ends right here where my hand is. Then there's the anchor well. So this just kind of gives some protection to the anchor well. Otherwise, the boat fills this tent pretty well. I've got it pushed aft quite a bit. There's a little slack in this rear panel, so I got the outboard right up against it. A little cloth over it just to prevent chafe. And this is just to keep debris and junk out of the boat when we're not here. We have trees everywhere. There's really nowhere to put it. It's completely out of the weather or out of the tree fall. And obviously if a tree or a big branch falls on this, then we're in trouble, but there's just nowhere I can put it here that's safer than this. So we're going to go with this. Got the cover on the bow, but I left the bottom open for better ventilation because the fans won't run in here. And obviously the bimini is folded up. I debated covering the cockpit and all, but I can't do that with the bimini folded. And anyway, I thought ventilation was better. The shed covers the cockpit the way I need it, so that makes this all good. So we'll see how this goes.